Ford is one of the most successful engine manufacturers in Formula One history. Red Bull is the most dominant team of the modern era. And yet, Formula One has never been kind to dominance when the rules change. Ferrari lost control after 2004. Red Bull fell back in 2014. Mercedes lost its advantage after 2021. Across decades, the pattern is consistent. Regulation resets do not spare champions or legacy brands, which makes the Ford-Red Bull partnership for 2026 unusually difficult to ignore, because this is not Ford returning as a traditional factory team, and it is not Red Bull simply switching engine suppliers. Instead, Ford Motor Company and Red Bull Racing are developing a power unit together from a clean sheet for the most radical engine reset Formula One has ever introduced. On the surface, that looks like risk. Structurally, it raises a deeper question. Is this partnership designed to survive the 2026 reset or to exploit it? The 2026 regulations are not a routine evolution. They redefine what performance means in Formula One. For the first time, roughly half of a car's total power output comes from the electrical system. The internal combustion engine is no longer the dominant performance lever. This reset does not just reshuffle lap times. It reshapes development priorities, organizational structures, and competitive windows. The decisions teams make now will not define a single season. They will define who controls the front of the grid for years. History tells us what should happen next. Ferrari dominated the early 2000s under regulatory stability. When the rules changed in 2005, that advantage collapsed. Red Bull mastered the blown diffuser era between 2010 and 2013. The introduction of hybrid engines in 2014 ended that dominance immediately. Mercedes ruled the turbo-hybrid era. When ground effect regulations arrived in 2022, they were suddenly chasing. Each time, regulation resets punished incumbents. And each time, dominant teams entered the reset defending past strengths. Red Bull's 2026 strategy breaks from that pattern. This is where the Ford partnership fits precisely. Ford is contributing in defined technical areas: battery systems, electric motor technology, control electronics, and software. They are not running the team. They are not controlling race operations. They are aligned with where the regulations concentrate performance. At the same time, Red Bull Powertrains has invested heavily in building its first in-house power unit operation in Milton Keynes. Senior engineers with deep hybrid experience have been recruited. The power unit has already been fired on the dyno. This is not a branding exercise. It is a targeted response to regulatory direction. But none of this removes the risk. Red Bull is not just building an engine. They are building manufacturing discipline, operational processes, and internal feedback loops, all under cost cap constraints. This is happening alongside organizational change. Adrian Newey is not involved in the 2026 car. Senior leadership responsibilities are evolving. History shows that new power unit programs rarely begin at the front. Reliability issues are common. Learning curves are steep. This partnership offers upside, but no guarantees. The advantage in 2026 may not come from the best engine on day one. It may come from the fastest learning system. As power output converges, differentiation shifts elsewhere. To energy deployment logic, to software iteration speed, to how quickly simulation feedback becomes on-track performance. Red Bull's real bet is not Ford's badge. It is organizational adaptability. In a rule set where half the performance is electrical and regulated, the team that learns fastest, not the team that starts strongest, gains the edge. This is no longer a horsepower race. It is a decision speed race. History suggests dominant teams should fall when the rules change. But this reset allows for a more layered outcome, because 2026 is not only a competitive reset for Formula One, it is also a technological one. For Ford Motor Company, Formula One becomes a high-stress development platform, a place to test battery efficiency, energy deployment, and software control at the absolute limit. That matters in a world moving steadily toward electrification. As road cars shift toward hybrid and electric systems, the skills that decide Formula One performance in 2026, energy intelligence, thermal control, software optimization, are no longer isolated to racing. They are industrially relevant. For Red Bull, the bet is competitive. For Ford, it is also developmental. Whether that dual purpose translates into championships depends on execution, reliability, and how quickly both organizations learn under pressure. The answer will not be visible in testing. It will emerge over seasons. If you value explanation over headlines and understanding over speculation, subscribe to Pitlane Analytics.